Welcome to the Clause YouTube channel.
Together, we strive for a safer, secure, and more stable world.
Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of Center for Land Warfare Studies. In short, it is also known as CLAWS, an independent think tank on the strategic studies and land warfare issues. We wish to inform our audience that we are commencing a series of podcasts that will invite senior serving military officers to apprise the nation about the defense preparedness of the Indian Army. The first of the block, we have Lieutenant General Adosh Kumar, Ati Visisht Seva Medal, Sena Medal, the DG Artillery of our great Indian Army. Lieutenant General Adosh Kumar, AVSM SM, is an alumnus of RIMC, NDA, and IMA. He was commissioned in a field regiment on 14th January 1986. The General Officer has done MSc Defence Studies from Staff College, Wellington, MMS from CDM, Secunderabad, and attended NDC at New Delhi. MMS incidentally stands for Master of Management Studies. The General Officer also holds MPhil degrees from Osmania and Chennai University. The General Officer has varied service exposure in all types of terrain and operations. During his command staff assignments, he has commanded his parent unit as part of Strike Corps and in CI operations in Northern Command. Thereafter, he commanded a Mountain RT Brigade in Eastern Command and subsequently an RT Division as part of Strike Corps. The General Officer has tenured various staff and instructional appointments, both India and abroad. But more importantly, he had also held the appointment of ADG Procurement in MGS branch, so he is well versed with the procurement nuances of state-of-the-art equipment in the Indian Army. He assumed the appointment of Director General of Artillery with effect from 1st of May 2023. So we could not have asked for a better person than him to tell the nation about modernization and Atmanirbharta in the artillery and rocket systems in our army. General Adosh, on behalf of the people of India and through our YouTube channel, I extend a very warm welcome to you for this podcast. I hope our viewers will be exposed to some very interesting facts about the Corps of Artillery. Before we start our discussions, I would like to again emphasize that this is a Know the Army kind of a program, and to that extent, I think this will also clear the air from the environment.
Thank you very much for the invite, General Dushyant. I look forward to interacting with Klaus and giving views on the Regiment of Artillery's modernization program and the way ahead. Thank you.
General Adosh, you are fully aware that the world geopolitics is extremely volatile. I have a few words to describe the world today. It is known as possibly a very brittle world, very anxious world, very non-linear in nature, and I would also add to this incomprehensible world. Now, in this kind of a scenario, the nature of warfare is also undergoing a lot of change. Now, how do you visualize this change in the nature of warfare, and how is the Corps of Artillery changing itself or transforming itself to meet the challenges of the new ways of war fighting? The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Dushyant. I think it's difficult to predict the contours of future warfare because they'll be dependent on a lot of factors, especially the existing geopolitical situation at that time. However, I believe that they'll be complex, hybrid, and multi-domain in nature, ranging across the entire spectrum of ops, right from hybrid warfare with plausible deniability to full-scale conventional wars with or without nuclear overhang. These wars will also be escalatory in nature, and the engagements would be both non-contact, non-kinetic, as well as non-contact kinetic. Another thing which comes to my mind is they would be characterized or they would be highlighted by intense engagements, simultaneity of ops, and increase battlefield transparency, which would necessitate synergized application of all firepower resources. It goes without saying that both the warring sides would exploit technology to the hilt, with emphasis on space, electronic warfare, and precision targeting. Now, if this is going to be the likely battlefield scenario of the future, as regiment of RT, where do we fit in? And the first thing what comes to my mind is that the ISR, that is the int, surveillance, and reconnaissance, will assume great importance. The aerial surveillance and targeting has taken a quantum leap, as has been evident in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, I read recently in a newspaper report that the US Army has unveiled a program called Titan. The acronym stands for Tactical Intelligence for Targeting Access Nodes, which in very brief is a cutting edge generation of the ISR and the targeting management, and is set to revolutionize field artillery operations. So we also need to in future extensively exploit artificial intelligence, data analytics, and machine learning in our surveillance architecture and targeting management. The aim is to cut down the sensor to shooter timings or linkages, thereby establishing effective kill chains. In fact, the Regiment of Artillery is already investing heavily into the niche technology equipment, call it the loiter munitions, or the swarm drones, or the runway independent RPAS, or the counter drones, and even the artillery delivered mine system. We are also analyzing the FPV drones, or the first person view drones, for our OP officers, through which our OP officers can see target in real time and engage them without any delay. Another aspect which comes into my mind is that the ongoing conflict has shown us that the jamming technology has been extensively utilized by both Russia and Ukraine for blocking the satellite signals of each other's weapon systems and munition. We also saw the same during the Iran attack on Israel, wherein the Israelis disabled the GPS system, thereby rendering the Iran's drone attacks largely ineffective. Hence, I believe our ammunition, drones, and loiter munitions also need to operate in a GPS disabled environment. We also need to look at AI-empowered artillery munitions with inbuilt radars, so that these radars can seek target and have inbuilt processing capabilities. This capability will ensure that the shells, receive the target data from the sensors, and in case mid-course correction is required, the shells would be able to, undertake the same correction. This will not only lead to reduction in ammunition requirements, but also reduce or minimize the collateral damage. In fact, I'd also read recently that the PLA has tested AI-powered artillery ammunition, which can engage human-sized targets up to a range of 16 kilometers. So we need to develop these kind of weapon systems and munitions with artificial intelligence at a fast pace. We also need to graduate to hypersonic missiles, as I believe they will have a decisive role to play in any future battlefield, as because of their speed and maneuverability, hard to detect. Another thing which comes to my mind is survivability. The survivability of our weapon systems will be a major factor in any future battlefield. And hence, in the Regiment of RT, we need to develop highly mobile weapon systems which have got autonomous systems. And that is the reason, why we are going in for spiral development of our weapon systems, so that we can absorb all the latest technology as it develops. It goes without saying that seamless and robust communication system is a prerequisite for success in any future operations, as it will play a pivotal role. We have seen how the Starlink communication system has been effectively utilized by the Ukrainians for directing their artillery fire. So we too need to develop small satellite constellations in low Earth orbit so that it can strengthen our C4 ISR capabilities of the gunners. To summarize, I would say that we cannot simply afford to wish away wars. At the same time, we need to draw lessons from the ongoing conflicts and change the way we are going to find future wars.
General Adosh, I think that was a very uh, good kaleidoscope of what the Regiment of Artillery is looking at in the future, both in terms of what our adversary is likely to pitch against us and what is going to be our approach. I would just like you to explain to me very briefly, because a number of our audiences now would be civilians, people who may not be understanding various terms. You mentioned something about spiral development. Can you explain what exactly you mean by spiral development?
Basically, we require a certain number of guns. So instead of going for the complete quantity at one time, we are looking at doing it in part procurement. So we are buy X number of guns initially. It will take some years for them to be delivered to us. By that time, the technology would have moved on. We would have had advanced technology emanating. And so we'll go in for the second, for the procurement of the same guns in the next slot, in which we can incorporate the improved technologies in our system.
Right. So it's kind of like a spiral, it'll keep
Absolutely
improving itself. Well, you also briefly alluded to ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. I must add here that there are over 30 conflict hotspots in the world today. So it is something which we are likely to see more of in the future. So these wars are redefining the way artillery is now coming into the fore. Why only artillery? Even the rocket system is coming into the fore. So as the head of the artillery, what are the changes happening in the Indian artillery in terms of weapon systems and ammunition? Could you throw some light on that?
You rightly said, Jan Dushyant, that the world is there are very challenging and complex times existing, and maybe in future also there will happen a number of conflicts which we cannot accurately predict presently. But what I would say that the firepower will play a decisive role, more important than ever before, and will be a major factor in determining success of any side. Data right since the World War I suggests that 80% of the casualties have occurred due to artillery fire. Hence, as the Regiment of Artillery, we are graduating from neutralization to destruction, from quantitative to qualitative, and from an arm of influence to, more importantly, an arm of decision. Now, capability development plan is based on 5 pillars. The first is ensure the mediumization of guns with superior technological platforms. The second is the induction of more long-range vectors and missiles of longer range and more accuracy. The third is development of munitions which are lethal. The fourth, you could call it the restructuring of our IND surveillance and recce structures. And the fifth would be the digitization and automation at all levels. Now, you asked me specifically about the changes in the weapons, systems, and ammunition, and I shall briefly explain the same. As far as the weapon system is concerned, 155 will be the standard caliber in all our future purchases with automated system. We are also ensuring a judicious mix of towed gun systems, mounted gun systems, and self-propelled track gun systems in our artillery profile. And this artillery profile is being subjected to regular reviews due to operational requirements. In the recent past, we have signed a number of contracts for acquisition of 155 guns and howitzers. As you're well aware, we have procured the 155 ultralight howitzers. Post that, we have procured the 155 K9 self-propelled guns. We are also inducting the Dhanush gun systems, which are totally indigenous. In fact, they are an electronic upgrade of the existing Bofors systems. Uh, they have already been inducted into the Indian Army, and more regiments as we speak are being inducted. And likewise for Sarang gun systems, which are an upgunned versions of 130mm systems, we already equipped some regiments with the Sarangs, and more regiments are being equipped in the near future. As far as the ATAGS gun system is concerned, ATAGS is an acronym for Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System. This, as you are aware, has been designed by the ARDE along with two development cum production partners. Now, what is very encouraging is it's a greenfield project, totally 100% designed and developed indigenously. It has a number of advanced features like an electrical drive, which can be utilized for ammunition loading, laying, and firing. We are also inducting more K9 regiments, as they are the ideal to be operating in mechanized formations. And as we speak, again, the procurement process is already ongoing for induction of more number of 155mm mounted gun systems and improved versions of towed gun systems. Now, I just spoke about the gun systems. Let me touch a bit about the rockets. Now, Pinaka rocket system, as you're well aware, has been a success story of India's Atmanirbharta. In fact, the Regiment of Artillery has fully supported this project. A number of regiments are already equipped with the Pinaka rocket system, and additional regiments are being equipped in near future with Pinakas. In fact, DRDO is also exploring increasing the range of these Pinaka gun systems to 120 and 300 kilometers. As far as the missiles is concerned, we are looking at missiles at longer range with more accuracy. I spoke of hypersonic missiles, what we require in the future. So we're looking at hypersonic missiles. The DRDO is already engaged in the development of the same. Let me now touch upon a bit about the ammunition. And as far as the ammunition is concerned, our focus is on greater lethality of munitions. And to that extent, we are engaged with the academia and the industry for development of the terminally guided munitions, or the course correction fuses, or the sensor fuse munitions. We are also looking at the extended range munition with ramjet technology, which actually very few countries in the world possess. As far as the rocket munitions is concerned, we are looking at number of munitions which are under design and development stage. To name a few, it is the high explosive pre-fragmented, it is the guided extended range, it is the area denial munition series of munitions which we can fire with Pinakas. In fact, the ADM, or the area denial munitions, when developed, would have the capability to saturate a target with anti-tank or anti-personnel minelets in the complete area. We've also contracted loiter munitions of varying ranges, and are also engaged with the industry for development of advanced loiter munition. Likewise, in fact, for swan drones also, we have swan drones in our inventory, which would be operating in conjunction with the RPAS, thereby establishing an effective hunter-killer network. So all in all, I would say that the Regiment of Artillery is firmly on the path of transformation. We are modernizing at a progressing, in fact, our modernization is progressing at an appropriate pace through Atmanirbharta. It is giving us time to adapt to these changes, absorb technology at all levels, and put in place optimal employment philosophies.
General Adosh, I think that was a very, very extensive coverage of what the Indian Army's Artillery Corps is planning for and going ahead with it. Before I ask you the next question, I have another a little bit of a curiosity in my mind. Normally, it is said that the naval Navy as a service has been slightly ahead in terms of indigenization. But within the army, my own sense says that it is the artillery which is leading the indigenization pack. Can you throw some light on as to how has artillery achieved this, this greater amount of indigenization, or what we call it as Atmanirbharta, before we go into the next question?
Well, as you said, sir, our capability development plan is a long-term plan, and it has been formulated with a lot of deliberations. After taking the industry into, confidence of what they are capable of, what they are capable of producing now, what they are capable of producing in future. So our requirements are quite grounded. They are in tune with the technology the industry has, and we've taken that into consideration while making our GSQRs, so that we don't have to revisit our GSQRs in future and waste precious time. So I think that is why our indigenization, the content of indigenization in our gun systems is very realistic, and I don't foresee any impediments in our procurement or in our development by the industry in future.
So, in a nutshell, you are saying it was all to do with a long-term vision,
Absolutely.
a continuity in the various DG artilleries who
Absolutely,
were there in the
absolutely.
past and possibly who are going to come in the future.
Yes, absolutely. We not try to reinvent the wheel. A lot of hard work has gone, into it, into deciding the capability development plan prior to it. Yes, a bit of tweaking has to happen, which is quite natural because of the operational consideration. But let me again reiterate, it is minor in nature.
Okay. So, another important question, which is an actually a outflow from, or the result of lessons learned from the ongoing conflict, is about ammunition management. I find that in the Russia-Ukraine war, the West has gone behind the Russians as far as the production of ammunition is concerned, and that is proving critical at times during the close attritional battle. So, what is the Indian Army's plan to overcome this challenge, ramp up the production when required, or what is it doing for itself to get more self-sufficiency? And I would say Atmanirbharta. Over to you.
Sir, you alluded to the Russia-Ukraine war, and I would say the conflict is in its third year with no signs of ending, and it has shattered a common perception that the wars will be short and swift. Hence, I think all of us need to be prepared for prolonged war, which necessitates continuous availability and supply of weapons, equipment, and vehicles. You also mentioned about the shortage of ammunition, especially from the west for the Ukrainians. Or Russia is firing firstly 20,000 155 shells per day, and while as Ukrainians are firing approximately 5,000 shells per day. And you rightly pointed out that the supply of 155 ammunition to the Ukrainians has been severely restricted in the recent past, which has had an effect on their operations. And some reports also say that they were relying on undetonated 155 shells left behind by the Russians. As far as the production capability of both the sides is concerned, as far as 155 ammunition, the Russians are capable of producing 3.5 lakhs of 155 shells per month. In fact, that translates to 42 lakhs 155 shells per year. Now, this is almost, or in fact, more than 3 times of what the US and the West can, produce in a combined manner. Accordingly, I think the US is also augmenting their capability from a present 3 lakhs to almost 12 lakhs of 155 ammunition by the end of next year. The European Union is also increasing their capability, and as per the reports, they are increasing it to 17 lakh of 155 shells by this year end. As far as we are concerned, there is concerted efforts to encourage Atmanirbharta as far as the ammunition is concerned. The Regiment of Artillery is pursuing a number of Make in India projects related to ammunition. The aim is very clear. We need to have adequate level of ammunition stocking, which is indigenous. And we are engaged with both the public and the private sector for this. They are being encouraged to participate in all our ammunition projects. In fact, we have a number of ongoing ammunition projects related to 155, all type of 155 shells, even including the bi-modular charge systems, and also likewise for rockets. You are aware in December last year, that's in December 2023, the Ministry of Defense signed a contract for almost 50 lakh of electronic fuses to be supplied over a period of 10 years for all type of artillery guns. As far as our emphasis is concerned in the munition, it is more on the new generation of munitions, which has got extended range and lethality. To that extent, we are hand-holding and providing all support to our industry partners. We signed a number of MOUs, with the IITs for development of precision ammunition, and this is being undertaken either through Make2 or through the Army Technology Board or through the Technology Development Funds. We have also got a study ongoing of increasing the scale of precision ammunition in our inventory. Precision ammunition vis-a-vis dumb ammunition, I don't need to highlight what are obvious advantages, but it's extremely important to have more numbers in our inventory to destroy a target before it can change its posture, and also obviously to achieve more with less. As far as precision munition is concerned, for 155 ultra light howitzers, we already have the Excalibur ammunition. We already have the precision guidance kit, which increases the lethality of these howitzers. We also procured the ATD system, or that acronym stands for Advanced Targeting Development System, through which we can accurately, come to know the location of targets. We have validated, this precision ammunition and the ATD system, and are exploiting it in all our exercises. As far as rockets is concerned, I made a mention earlier that we have the guided extended range ammunition, the trials of which are in progress as we speak, which have not only increased the range of these rocket systems, but also increased the accuracy of these rocket systems considerably. I also spoke of loiter munitions and swarm drones, which are being indigenously developed, and they would have, of course, precision capability inherent in them. It is also very encouraging that we have a number of industry players who are establishing ammunition factories, especially of 155 ammunition. And I've been told, and I've been reading the report, that they'll be operational in near future. So I'm confident that with all this indigenization efforts, the Regiment of RT is well poised to cater for its ammunition requirements for any contingency in future.
So, General Adosh, as per you, we are ready for all contingencies in the future as far as our ammunition management goes. So I'm sure that will assure a lot of people of our country that we are in very safe hands. With that, I would also like to highlight to the public that the disadvantage which the Russians had initially, and they were able to ramp up their production far more than the Western world combined. That is something very, very astonishing, and it needs to be studied a little more in detail. With that, I will come to the final question, okay, as you may like to know, and that is, as the head of the arm, what is your vision and how do you want to take forward the Regiment of Artillery during your rest of the tenure?
I think, artillery today represents the true essence of military power by dominating the battlefield. Modern weaponry has given us longer reach and destructive prowess that has further enhanced our versatility. As far as our vision is concerned, I would say our collective vision is to transform the regiment of artillery into an arm which is capable of providing comprehensive and decisive firepower by integrating the ISR, a niche technology, and cutting edge solutions to ensure victory across the complete spectrum of operations. And to that extent, our capability development plans, which I alluded to earlier, are progressing well as per defined timelines. Modernization through indigenization is our mantra, and all capability development is being achieved through 100% indigenous efforts under Atmanirbharta. Most importantly, I think it is, as far as we are concerned, it is all encompassing, not only to include guns and rockets, but also ammunition and all other types of equipment and vehicles. And both public as well as private industries have set up an effective ecosystem to meet these requirements. In fact, I would have no hesitation in saying that we are transforming from analog to digital, from manual to automatic, and from conventional to smart in the right earnest and at a rapid pace. The recent conflicts have re-established the importance of firepower as a battle-winning factor, and we see artillery as an arm of decision in future. Accordingly, our focus will continue to remain on enhancing our operational preparedness, effectively integrating to operate in a combined arms environment, and also continual innovations in our technical, tactical, and employment philosophies so as to stay ahead of all the challenges and threats in future.
Well, thank you, General Adosh. I think that was a very, very informative session. It will also inform our public about what exactly is going on in the Corps of Artillery. It would suffice me to say that people can be assured that the Regiment of Artillery is well on the path of transformation. It is looking at our weapon systems in a holistic manner as per a long-term plan with a continuity in mind and Atmanirbharta in focus. Simultaneously, I think you are also focusing on ensuring that at the time of criticality, we do not have to look backward as far as our ammunition management is concerned. And that's a very, very good news for people of the country. And I wish you and the Corps of Artillery during your tenure and beyond very, very happy and also a very successful tenure so that we are taken a step, a notch above our current levels of preparedness. As you say, artillery is the arm of decision, and people should not forget that we also call artillery as the king of battle. Thank you very much for coming to our podcast and honoring us with your comments and observations. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Jan Dushyant, for inviting me. I think it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Jay.